Happy New Year and welcome to 2025. Wow, I can't believe it. It is 2025. Today is the first or the second, I'm not sure of the date, but we are in the beginning of January 2025. Lenka, we made it. We did 2024 and we're still here. So really looking forward to 2025. And one of the things that we love to do in this beginning of the year episode is talk about what we are wanting for the future or for the year ahead, and what words are going to guide us, inspire us, motivate us, or just get us started moving into January, February, March of 2025. So Lenka, welcome to 2025, and share with us what you're looking for in this coming year and what words are going to guide you.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to 2025, and thank you so much for being here with us. It's awesome to be starting another year together with you, Natalie, and with our amazing listeners and viewers. So that's so exciting that we have another year of podcast ahead of us. Whew. So before we dive into what's ahead, I always like to look back. So my 2024 word was belief. I believe it was belief. It was a word that carried with me for a little while because I really felt like I need to find my footing with belief. It meant belief in myself, in my capabilities, in my strengths, but also belief in belief itself, not necessarily in any religious way, but belief and trust in the universe, in the energy, in the realm of the world we live in and the possibilities. And I have a tendency that my words somehow transition halfway through here. They always feel like naturally the next word picks me up, not on the 1st of January, but somewhere during the year. I have a feeling that I'm like, this word seems like we finished our business and it got me as far as it could. And usually I very naturally transition into the main major keyword kind of spontaneously. And this year it was the same. Somewhere at some point, I realized that my guiding principles moved from belief to trust, to rather than hoping and believing, to truly trusting. And the word that then started appearing more and more and more was conviction. It was not just belief that I believe that things are possible. It was the clarity, it was the certainty, it was the conviction that things are possible, that they're happening, that they're on their way. So this is the way I'm starting the year. It's with this word conviction. And I have a few more bits to add to it. But before we dive into it, I would love to know about your word, maybe. What was the 2024 one? And what was maybe the process also for you to finding the 2025 one?
I love how and I've loved watching you going from belief to conviction and seeing the changes that have happened throughout 2024, and just being a witness to your journey. It's been really wonderful, and how going from that belief word to that conviction word, the difference that has made to you. And so it's wonderful, and I'm glad that you're sharing that with our listeners. So for me, I had a few words, but one of the words that really stuck out for me through 2024 was humanness. And that to me is, I wanted to reconnect to my own humanness and find the humanness in others and in this world that we're living in at the moment. And I also had a word called Ubuntu, which is a South African word, which was community. But halfway through the year, there was like a shift that happened. It was almost like a stopping of life for me in a way, because we wanted to take a big leap, but we didn't know what we were doing, and we were in this space of limbo. And to be honest, we're still in that space of limbo because no decision has been made. And this is where the word humanness has been so important, because it's about, you know what, you're human. It's okay to just stop. It's like, yes, but I need to know what I'm doing. What are my plans for the future? What am I going to do? But just be human. Just, it's okay. Just take it slow or think about it. Don't rush it. So the Ubuntu sort of fell away because it was just about finding a way to live in that limbo. So it's been a really interesting word for me because humanness has so many different aspects. So I've been living with that word for a year, and from a year ago to now, that word has almost changed in the way that I'm living with it. And I think it's a word that I'm going to carry on just having there, but it's not one of my main words for 2025, but it's still there in the background because I don't think I'm finished with that word yet, but it needs to be with other words, if that makes sense. So it's been really interesting how that word has changed for me, yet it's the same word, but it has different meanings now than it had 12 months ago. So Lenka, share one of your newer words that you're going to be having with conviction.
So together with conviction, there was a word that again spoke to me and find its way to me. And I'm sure struggling with it, which I think is the reason why I really need it. And the word is surrender. It's following on the theme of trust, but to a very different level of not controlling, not having necessarily strong opinions and really following, the visions so stubbornly, but allowing more the natural flow of things and being again having the conviction that good things are happening, that the dreams I have will be realized, that I will find my path, but also just surrendering to whatever the circumstances are, whatever opportunities present themselves, because it also goes back to 2024, where opportunities I would have never thought will be exciting and meaningful and really drive my future came my way. I said yes, and I was amazed by where they took me. So I'm taking a little bit of a leap from there to be like, okay, give me a little bit more of that. If I surrender to my opinions and if I surrender my beliefs and if I surrender my visions, which is interesting because we talk a lot on this podcast about visualization and manifestation and kind of putting the energy out there. And yes, that's still true and it's still happening, but there's also this part of whenever it's not happening, then it's not bad. There are other things. So be open and surrender. And another word that's kind of adding into the mix. For a while, I was feeling that I want to find myself, that, my journey with my career and in my path has been a bit wobbly and I wasn't sure where I'm heading. So finding myself was a thing for a little bit, but then I realized that it's not finding myself, it's creating myself. Because I have the power. It's not randomly somewhere sitting and waiting. I have the power, I have the control, I have the opportunity, I have the possibility to then create the new me, to create a life that I want. So it's an interesting mixture of words, I would say, from the conviction that the right thing will happen and that the good things are coming and that I'm at the right path, to surrender to whatever happens and accept that and go with the flow, to then taking ownership back to I will put in the actions needed to create myself.
I love it. Wow, such powerful words. It's always lovely when we do this because we don't know what each other's words are. So it's like, wow, I love that surrender. I mean, if I wasn't filled up with words, I'd like, yeah, I want that one as well. But it's not quite for me. But I can just, having witnessed your journey and watched you, I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense and such a powerful word. So yay. I'm looking forward to seeing where this word takes you this year or for the next few months anyway. So wonderful. So let me share my words with you. And I've been sitting with these for December and just really thinking about what it was that I'm wanting for 2025. So remember, I was talking about being in limbo and not having made a decision. And some of our listeners will know that I'm in South Africa at the moment to see, is it a place that we're going to come to, or do we stay in the UK, or what happens? So there's this limbo. And I've also been thinking about what I'm wanting for my life, how I want my days to look or my life to look. We've had some amazing guests who, they talk about just working around walking, or the way they live their lives day to day and not in the rat race and not rushing about. And that's got me thinking from a lot of our guests that we've had this year. And I know one that's coming up will be, van living and just being slow. So one of the words that I have is gentle, is finding gentleness. So it's be gentle to myself, but also have more gentleness in my life. And that means for me is slowing down, resting, just being still, just be gentle. Be gentle in the way that I create my days, be gentle in the way that I talk to myself, be gentle in the way that I'm being. And so that's one word for me. And again, it connects to the humanness, just being gentle. The other word that I have is courage, because the third word that I have is change. And we need courage to create change. And having been in limbo, it's like, well, I can get quite comfortable in limbo. We get comfortable. We just stay stuck. We just stay where we are. And it's like, why change anything? Why create something different? Because if we do move countries, it's not just moving around the corner. It's a huge thing. And adding that to creating gentleness in my life and in my daily routine, it needs courage to create the change. So the three words very much for me connect in a way. And of course, it has that humanness behind it. But for me, it's gentle, courage, and change, because I'm expecting to be doing big things in 2025, and I need the courage to do it. And I need to create the change in order to get it done, but I need to do it gently. So it's going to be fun. We'll see what happens, and we'll see where 2025 takes both myself and Lenka. And yeah, these are big words, but I'm hoping that they will guide me, kick me up the butt when needed. And Lenka, feel free to use them, remind me and say, oi, remember that word? And just hoping that, or work towards creating that change and having the courage to do it.
But a few things are coming to me. It's you're hoping that these words are going to come, and kind of with my words is like it's the reassurance, the convictions, like they're going to lead you there. And one word that seems to be creeping up a lot is just. And I hate that word. That's such a little nasty word that diminishes everything. So that would be, in a gentle way, my encouragement for you as you're working through these words is when you're, be it journaling, be it meditating, be it thinking, whatever process you have to allow these words to guide you, pay attention to the just, because it is a nasty little word that can take away all our power and belief and conviction. And it's the hope. Hope is wonderful things. And again, I had a word belief that kind of is very close to the hope. But it only takes you so far. And I think that if we want to create a change, and if we want to create a change that is designed how we want to, it can be gentle, then we don't need hope. We already have all we need. You already have all you need to be able to use these words and create the life you want, to get out of the limbo and create the world that you want. So that's just a little bit of a caveat in there.
That's why I love working with you, because you pick at the things, and you see, I didn't even have to wait 5 minutes and she's already on at me. But no, this is perfect. And I heard the hope, but I didn't hear the just. So that will be interesting. So thank you for that. And yes, and for our listeners, hopefully you've heard the wisdom that Lenka has shared. Thank you, Lenka.
You're welcome. And there is an encouragement to our listeners and viewers. What are your words of the year? Do you pick one? Do you pick multiple? Do you change them as you go, or do you really stick with them? And how do you work with them throughout the year? Do you set them at the beginning of the year and then you forget about them? Do you have them somewhere on your vision board? Do you journal about them? Like, how are you actually allowing them to guide you and to nurture you and to inspire you throughout the year? We would love to hear from you. Feel free to find us on social media, wherever you get in touch with us, and let us know. We would be thrilled to know and start this conversation about your words of the year. What were your last years? What are your this year's? We would love to know. And until next time, happy 2025, guys.